Preface. May I help you with those blinders? Exploiting through every vicissitude, modern-day self-help gurus sell what they claim as a means to attempt to achieve it. The old, do as I say, not as I do methodology. Right off the bat, this should raise a red flag hinting that their alternative, blanket philosophies can only exist for them, between the cracks of mass society, not on the even playing field where it's necessary to reinstate overall balance for all to share a humanized existence. The definition of hypocrisy is personified by liars who can't even live up to the standards they claim to embody. What they are is all they are. Pathetic, unqualified imposters fighting for the lead role in a Jesus for our time, only seeking to establish mercenary relationships while subjecting the virtue-bound and other sentient forms of life to walk a path they simply cannot. If all are incapable of living by the merciless code these freakish divas preach, unassisted by hidden support, then gullible pilgrims are headed for wannabe Mecca. Groupies who decide this reality suffices continue existing in the shadows of weakness and compromise, acting as demolishing parasites to the efforts of those who keep the world going through an honest day's work, hoping through action for a better tomorrow. Self-proclaimed New Age fakes are nothing more than pre-existing knowledge aggregators, clandestinely scouting the next photo op, less concerned with their own journey than with the profitable gimmick they can rush off to a reverse engineering sweatshop, packaged with an all-encompassing legal disclaimer, and sell you. These one-trick ponies are Bush League in every respect, except when it comes to targeting those in desperate need of hope, with the goal of converting them into instant disciples to keep their bullshit propaganda campaign on the fast track. In the end, it's all about them, and you'll find this out after they get what they came for, to cop a feel on your wallet and add you to their customer base. Don't become a fashion victim of the latest human potential pyramid schemes, consisting of ideologies with their own particular hang-ups. If a leader's moral compass isn't identical to yours, I seriously doubt it, and this makes me confident you won't buy into their bullshit. There is no way they can tell you where you will find yourself. Hence, senseless discussions where they speak out of both sides of their mouth are a waste of time, no matter how convincing, because intellect can always justify. Maybe some are entertained by their psychobabble bullshit, but I find them masturbatorically assholish. These frauds know all the right monikers to make it seem like they know what they are talking about, but the delta between what they know and what they claim to know is a distance so large it can't be measured in light years. Another rack of moralless criminals unworthy of honorable mention. Just curious, is it these clowns who are giving you your G2? If so, how's that working out for you? What did their hands really touch? Jerk off things like email? They've probably never even done a single day of selfless, back-breaking work. To them, work is pulling rank with empty credentials while backstabbing to no end, then putting their sin-stained fingerprints on the efforts of others. Also, who paved their way? Were these dunsical empty suits generically stamped out byproducts resulting from rising tide economic growth? Have they paid all their dues? Or have the people that they've leveraged just died off, and that is why these egos have decided it's okay to run scot-free? Tell me, because I want to know. Where does their undeserved hubris come from? Legacy? If they were privileged and their supposedly solid foundation was built upon the backs of others' sacrifices, then their journey is not accessible to the common man and therefore means jack shit. Put it next to all the other over-marketed, ordained by male junk and toss it. I don't give a fuck who certified them or how many prissy little plaques they have hanging in their corner office. The only thing that matters is what you and I approve of as a result of looking within and determining what we believe to be true. Since you and I will be spending time together, let's get one thing straight. I don't give a shit what armchair junkies say about my colloquially wild rhetoric because I don't write for them. They can go fuck themselves and stick to reading PG-13 crap, if even literate, that bears no relation to what life is actually about. See, I made it. I soloed the summit that is I with no Sherpas, no ropes, and no supplemental advantage. As truth is their kryptonite, I'm their worst nightmare, their antithesis, persona non grata numero uno. Allergic to bullshit, I let it be known. My work serves the struggling, underprivileged, realistic underdog, not sheltered, never-faced, real shit assholes who perpetuate an existence by lying to the virtuous. Not to say you can't learn from my work if you are that asshole. Fortunately, there is always time to land on the firm ground of reality before you are accepted into the most non-exclusive club in the world. It's called real-life struggles, also known as normal for 99% of humanity. Membership isn't particular, but remember, only you can let yourself in. For the record, I was not intellectually, monetarily, or egotistically obligated to share my journey, and that's why my words maintain an air of integrity. I can back up what I write. I don't have to say what I'm going to do because I've already made my bones. I lived one painful word at a time in order to complete this monument on my own mental and monetary dime. Just so you know, the opportunity cost of writing this book was well over $1 million and worth every penny. Self-actualization is priceless and without substitute. I have paid my fucking dues within a harsh reality I maintain to this day. Doing so has made me the person I can live with. I sleep well, harbor no regrets, and docent a crystal clear conscience. My credibility is rock solid because moi's experiences link up together without gaps commonly present in those whose learning curves are peppered with advantageous shortcuts. My qualifications include pain, suffering, and moving forward no matter what. I'm in the business of learning things the hard way, aka the honest way. This means my choices are accessible to anyone who cares to make similar sacrifices in their own life, if they dare. Are you down? Humanity's limitations are a result of how individuals direct their intellect. Culturally, we're not incented to transcend our human conditions. Instead, we're encouraged to remain in a socially reinforced state of purgatory, a cult fueled by misled idealism in order to support the backbone of a materialistically bastardizing capitalistic society. A prison-style collective where false pretenses and sodomized ideals thrive. One where people imbue their bodies and minds with negative influences, and then claim to transcend by pumping distorted ideologies into products and services for you to buy. Like our culture needs another retarded piece of crap. I caution you all not to oogle fool's gold being sold by modern snake oil salesmen personifying past potholes of naive American belief, such as the American dream. As soon as these heartless parasites smell opportunity, they come out of the cuts like loped-out locusts in a twit, ready to sink barbed fangs resembling irremovable quills, more than happy to skip the pan and go straight into the fire when stalking the almighty dollar, claiming to walk a line of integrity. But the fact that they have to advertise credibility is proof they've already sold out. I never have and never will. Modern marketing is the greatest lie-producing engine in the history of the world, only continuing to extend its reach because we fill this death machine's gas tank with the purchasing power of our hard-earned dollars. If companies' products are so damn great, why don't they just keep them all? One has to wonder how we managed to survive a turbulent evolutionary history before the massive product explosion of the last century. Granted, a few material items improve life, but do we really need so many external attachments? Besides, if products being forced upon us are infected with the same hypocrisy proprietors are struggling to conceal, how does any of this make sense? Oh wait, it doesn't. Socio-cultural ethics have mutated into a steroid-infused rape to squeeze the last fucking dollar out of everything, regardless of implications that affect nature, life, and the rest of the connected universe. advertisers are enjoying the role of slave master at the helm of this new form of indentured servitude coined commercialism. Being perfect slaves we pay to be marketed to, then by appealing but ultimately unnecessary shit, and in turn, sometimes most whorishly, advertise these awareness anchors in ways that fill sin-lined coffers while unknowingly drowning our souls. Encouraging this evil cycle of materialism does nothing more than separate. We become obsessed with building an idealized identity, endlessly draining our pocketbooks while remaining internally unsatisfied. As a result, anything that resembles authenticity or originality is instantly devoured by our meaning-starved culture whose appetite hungers for organic and natural, not artificial fulfillment. The not-so-apparent casualties? For every falsely persuaded believer of prepackaged lies, a million dreams are discarded. For every worshipped false prophet, 1,000 real heroes remain unsung. Unfortunately, this all-too-common tragedy happens repeatedly, swept under the carpet in a culture overly preoccupied with self. This book is nothing more than a compilation of truths revealed to an unbridled heart that never gave up trying to discover itself amongst the disintegration of the American ideal. A romanticized fairy tale to which the term well-adjusted has lost all meaning. This anomaly's crumbling, according to fact, not legend, is due in large part to the exposing of its cornerstone fraudulent masks. I have no respect for these so-called heroes who are all about getting us to join the star culture bandwagon with the direct intention of increasing their Hollywood factor. All these attention whores are doing is expressing the manifestations of their ego, then creatively disguising shallow actions as worthy of respect. This is why they get none of mine. Still, just because I encourage and exercise reverse celebrity worship doesn't let me off the hook. No one gets off that easy unless jerking themselves off. I accept that it is my responsibility to provide an alternative to the bullshit, not just shit talk and criticize. Remaining stagnant and doing nothing to help solve the world's problems makes me no better. Besides, we already have enough folks doing that job just fine. I am not here to sell you another hoop dream. I'm here to deliver value that will work if you work. The point of writing this book was not to sell copies. If it sells, so be it. If it doesn't, I don't give a fuck. Should people find my words valuable and one thing leads to another, great. I will feel eternally satisfied that I was able to help someone for the right reasons. I just want you to know that my first intention was to create outside of a self-serving, profit maximization attitude. This book is the result of my real journey, where I was looking past all commercial and social propaganda to be able to connect with myself without someone telling me how to or selling me useless garbage along the way. This work is the highest example of what it claims. What's preached is practiced. It's not the result of targeted market research, nor was it completed through leveraging resources such as ghostwriters, coffee go-getters, or any other wannabes that modern publishing has enslaved as its little whores. Oh, I'm sorry, let me be politically correct. Special resources. I embody complete and utter disdain for those who claim to make the world a better place under the ruse of money. And yes, I shoot messengers. They are just concerned with receiving a steady. I am not. In the business of hope, there can be no substitute for ultimate and absolute sincerity, death to all exceptions. I wrote this book because I felt I needed to say something that was missing, something that I wish existed when I was struggling to find myself, something that the majority of us have all forgotten. Had I not accepted this challenge, it would have been the greatest mistake of my life. I would have not been able to continue living and referring to myself as a man. For the biggest sin is the sin of disbelief. Disbelief in oneself. It's unforgivable not to share our gifts with the world. I did what I had to do, and I hope you'll do the same. This book is the result of something that is real in all of us, but for many goes unnoticed because its possibility is never tapped into. Everyone embodies a uniqueness particular to them alone. But unless they decide to look within, gifts will lay buried under layers of unconquered fear and uncertainty. If your life's journey is about you, then how could it make any sense to look elsewhere? This book represents my voyage to find myself and bridge my reality to an honest living by creating something meaningful, something of value, which contributes by directly impact the quality of each individual life it touches. Your experience with my labor is the tell-all of whether I have accomplished my goal or failed. The proof is in the pudding. You decide. My intention was to get to the core of myself and make my own discoveries about what was true to me. What a different world this would be if everyone did that. Instead, society's new normal is a morally bankrupt compromise where everyone is expected to meet somewhere in the middle. Fuck that. I say follow what you believe to be true, outside of external justification. If you don't agree with my findings, yet have your own self-formulated opinions, great. Please, share through hypocrisy-free culminations. I just want people to think for themselves, outside corrupt and misleading contexts which have become synonymous with modern life. Don't be a fucking follower of others. Follow yourself. Where did all the unsung heroes go? Let you in on a little secret. That's us. So many are blessed with the gift of being able to comprehend the bigger picture, yet consciously decide to fall short of transcending their human conditions. I can't tell you how many people I've known with more talent in their pinky finger than I have in my entire being for which this is the case. They just didn't act. Instead, they became consciously fixated on parity waste, which in itself is a type of purgatory. I'm referring to the point of awareness where people arrive at truth, and instead of moving forward, remain at the level of rules, safety, casual conversation, standards, ethical debate, galactic compromise, religious affiliation, over-the-top payback, ruthless pillaging, support groups, rule-bending, dream circumcision, loneliness-induced appeasement, mind-numbing specifications, carnal desires, satirical entertainment, neglect, flattery, frustration, shit-talking, fake excuses, denial, pathetically incremental pay grades, sarcastic witticisms, creatively disguised social commentary, sinister acts, indecent imitation, familial dysfunction, racist undertones, disguised loyalty, money, Pollyanna social change, speculation, fame, terrorism, threats, prestige, wealth accumulation, pompousness, dull social miming, unhealthy addiction, undeserved indulgence, anal maintenance, diva-esque drama, memorable mention, unwarranted conformity, reflection, fascination, curiosity, monkey wrench sabotage, protest, bourgeois slavery, keeping up with the whatevers, rebellion, moral abstinence, complaining, preference, venting, emotions, opinions, fashion, doomed politics, the latest trend, the next best thing, zero-gravity ethics, chemically induced states, endless unaccepted propositions, disgusting humor, euphemisms, dysphemisms, compartmentalized zen, vernacular, mockery, working the system, intellectual posturing, dishing humiliation, perpetual mourning, rehab, ridicule, observations, one too many false starts, disturbing perfection, acts of misogyny, supporting the untested, civil disobedience, cruelty, methods, style, cell-born radicalism, artistic representation, securing unconformable salvation, violence, cultural identity, playing the victim, tacky nitpicking, wasteful indecision, comfortable ignorance, slimy gossip, beat-to-death strategy, and many other facets circling but avoiding direct action aimed at what is absolutely necessary. The list goes on forever, which is why I won't. I think you get the picture. The onus is on you. It's easy to point out the bad and then live buffered through layers of separation. Anyone can do that, and most people do. I challenge you with providing an alternative based on your first-hand interpretation. Approach what disturbs the world by first confronting what disrupts you. It's hard, isn't it? Well, if all you can do is point out the obvious instead of contributing something of value, where does that leave you? Are you going to give up without a fight and stay tied to the problem, or act and become an integral part of the solution? Time is a factor since we don't live forever. Your lack of immediacy should make you question your priorities and whether or not what you claim to represent falls into a secondary, less important category disguised as nepotism. Be honest, does it? It's tempting to preach auspiciousness up every step of the self-actualization ladder, but such behavior is counterproductive, as is falling into the trap of placating those with an "are you there yet" mentality. The goal is to get to the top of your mountain so you can translate the ultimate view to humanity through your unique contribution. This is why it's necessary for people to develop a keen second-level awareness in order to consciously drive their awakened sensations past roadblocks by exercising the real forgotten lost arts, free will and direct action. We must teach ourselves techniques suited to evaluate current behaviors and their compliance or lack of accord with what is at hand. In other words, make shit happen instead of just talking or thinking about change like every other poser. Looking to the world to tell you what you should or shouldn't do is a dangerous proposition, because socially ingrained ideals fuel impressions. One hope is that if we follow the status quo presented by these depictions, we will be directed towards our ideal path. Unfortunately, with no confirmable entity guiding the collective unconscious, it makes more sense to look within for direction. You are responsible for you. What a revolutionary idea! The question you should be asking yourself is, what am I going to do about it? How about turning your dilemma into a solution? Just a thought. The day we stop responding to this question with direct action is the day we die. And just so you don't confuse the concept of death, allow me to clarify. Most people completely misunderstand mortality. We don't die when our body ceases to function. We die when we no longer harbor the will to seek out possibilities associated with personal growth. This is the real value of every human to society. Man's heart beats louder than any drum. Find your beat and move to its rhythm. It's that simple. Hope exists in setting off on an individual journey to the deepest recesses of our soul to uncover what holds us back from transcending. As always, looking outside to understand what's within is futile. Doing so, we remain stuck with the option of being satiated by the incomplete ethereal theories and methods of others. Those never entirely suited to us. Leave everything behind that is not essential to your existence and say your own words. Although you may receive guidance along your path, the golden rule is to always look to yourself as the ultimate deciding factor. This is absolutely critical because the connections you establish will be unidentifiable by others, no matter what they claim, because they do not have the access of experiencing life from your unique, irreplicable perspective. Only you know what it is like to be you. Good luck, and I'll see you on the other side. Still learning and burning.